Head to Spotify or Apple Podcasts at Slow Pit Stop to listen to the entire unedited episode. Enjoy!
Hello and welcome to Slow Pit Stop, the international Formula One podcast by fans for fans all around the world. My name's Arafat, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host Mohammed. Say hi, Mohammed.
Hi guys, hi Mohammed.
And we're also joined by our favorite Canadian, Adam. Adam, if you were a tire, what tire would you be?
I have to go with medium for me.
Yeah?
I think it's one of those situations where, like, I'm ideal for a sprint race. Like, you need something that's going to last the whole sprint. No surprises with the graining, but not truly a marathoner. I prefer an acute rush. I don't like the long marathon calls.
Yeah.
But then once in a while, you're just like, man, I just didn't know that these tires were so tenacious. Like, this track's not a hard track at all. Like, it was mediums and a one stop. Like, I can't believe this.
Yeah.
So if I was a tire, I would be hard because my training and my job is nothing spectacular. Do you know who would be driving? Perez. I would be a hard tire in Perez's car where I would just go and go and go. Like my training has just gone on and on and on and on forever.
Oh my
and
God.
the end result that Perez has achieved with me isn't particularly great. Was it worth all that effort? I don't know. That's who I am.
Eventually we're going to record one of these episodes and neither of us will be in training and we'll just never complain about work. Can you imagine that?
It'd be so nice.
That's not how that goes. Spoiler warning, guys. That is absolutely what I thought too.
Sad.
The dramatic escalation in liability really upsets that, shall we say.
Yeah, I guess that's true. You get more responsibility. You can't get important at work. That's the key words.
Yeah.
To complete your
Distinctly
trifecta.
average.
Exactly. To complete your trifecta, I am the soft tire. And I've thought a lot about this over the last 30 seconds. Because I start out with a lot of gung-ho and I got all this passion. And I very quickly fall apart under a little bit of pressure. So I'm very, you always think, the softs are the best tire choice, gets you there the fastest. But really, they only go over one lap. And that's pretty much where I'm at. So, soft tire here.
Very good. I was having a look at the show notes and I was like, I don't remember typing this. And then I realized, Adam, you must have edited the document.
Yeah,
You've
I thought that's
asked,
what it was for.
what pot noodle do we have? So I had the pot noodle fusions chili chicken, which I think is potentially even better than the king of pot noodles, which is the Bombay Bad Boy.
Wow. I'm going to get both next time I'm across the pond.
But I don't have it right now because I ate it. I've upgraded my podcast snack. I have a plate with chopped up pieces of mozzarella that have been seasoned with olive oil and pepper and some sun-dried tomatoes.
Are you Indian?
Being very kind to yourself.
Are you Indian? I had biryani for lunch.
All right, fine. Fair enough. Bring it on the episode.
Do you have to top it up every day or you lose your status?
Huh? Yeah. I need you know how you have your blood sodium level and your blood magnesium level? I have a blood biryani level that I need to maintain.
Oops, I haven't had a pierogi this calendar year.
I don't have
My
a
pot noodle
with
is
me.
the Icelandic lamb soup.
Yeah, that looks so cool.
It's really
That looks
good.
really
I couldn't
good.
believe it.
Is it actually a noodle though? Like what?
No, there's no.
Okay.
There's kind of little giblets. I can't tell what they are. So
That's
maybe
always
there's some
fun.
kind of. No, it looks like there may be no carbs in it. Anyway, I also have
carb,
my
V-carb.
newest.
Yeah, the Red Bull cup is super cool.
A Red Bull glass that's the
Yeah.
capacity
Oh,
of
wow.
one of the cans.
It's really cool.
And I've just learned from this experiment that water tastes much colder in a small receptacle.
Nice. Shall we get into the episode?
Yes, I'm very excited because now I get access back to my social media. Or if I tell them why.
Because you've been off social media because you were traveling at the weekend and therefore were unable to watch the race. So we forbid you from finding out anything so that we could quiz you on it and give you some true or false scenarios. You've accidentally had something spoiled, which you'll tell us about.
So, yeah, true listeners of the show will remember that I did this in Monaco. And the hardest part was avoiding finding out what's going on during the race and the weekend because I'm so dialed in and plugged into the internet that like it's so hard not. So I had to avoid everything. I had to avoid Instagram and Twitter and Reddit and even Google Chrome, because now when you open Google Chrome, it gives you like little recommended articles to read based on your search history, and oftentimes it'll tell me the winner of the race in those articles. So I had to like avoid everything, and the only thing I knew going into this weekend was Red Bull had screwed something up going into the weekend, because Adam had sent a message and then Arafat had responded saying, "Can Red Bull get any worse?" or something like that. So it was like they've done something. And then I was spoiled about, so I didn't know anything. I had no idea how anybody qualified. I had no idea if Lewis was doing well in qualifying. Can't speak right now. I had no clue. And then I got spoiled for who won the race, because I went back on Reddit, but I went on to American football Reddit, which I didn't expect to get any spoilers. But as I was going through a game thread for one of the games that was happening, somebody was like, "That game was devastating, but not as devastating as George Russell winning the Vegas Grand Prix." And I was like, "No, unnecessary." And we're not talking about that right now.
Wow.
So, do you know anything else? What do you know right now?
So after that happened, I looked up the top 5, because I was like, I just need to know like a little bit.
Yeah.
I can't survive like this. So I know I went Russell and then Lewis, and then I think Carlos Sainz, and then Charles Leclerc, and then Max Verstappen, which Sainz ahead of Leclerc just feels like there's a story there. I don't know if I'm right, but it doesn't feel like, it just feels like there's a story there. And it feels like Russell ahead of Lewis is a story too. And I feel like I'm going to get my heart broken, because I think there's some kind of team order shenanigans and something going on there.
So
and
we'll get into
also, I've inferred that Max must have won his 4th championship, since Norris is not in the top 5.
Yeah. So we'll get onto all the different things you've talked about. Red Bull messing up something earlier, but then solving their issues. I've got a series of questions where I want you to guess what was true or false, and then we'll just talk about the race and stuff. Adam, you've added a note.
Already sounds like.
You've added a note there, but we'll talk about it in a little bit. I'm gonna ask you a question, Mohammed.
Okay.
And I want you to guess which of these 3 scenarios that I'm giving you is true.
Something's gonna break my heart. Okay. Hit me with it.
So, scenario 1, Gasly qualified 3rd, but his engine exploded on lap 15, forcing him to retire.
What? He qualified
Scenario
3rd? Well,
Scenario 2, Gasly qualified 3rd, but he was taken out into turn 1 by Ocon, who was trying to pull off a Colapinto-style epic multi-car overtake. Or scenario 3, Gasly qualified 3rd, but gradually slipped backwards, having a boring race, and finished in last place.
In last place?
Of the finishers, some people didn't finish.
I guess I should have guessed that. It is a street track, it is cold, it is at night, so I've got to assume some people didn't finish. But you said the last one is the funniest, because how do you go from 3rd to last? Like, I can imagine finishing just outside the points, like, oh, P11, so close. But finishing last is so fun. I'm going to go with the last one. He qualified 3rd, which is crazy. Did he really qualify 3rd?
Yes.
So he did, yeah. Every scenario I gave you, Gasly qualified 3rd. He had an amazing qualifying.
Wow.
But the correct answer was his engine exploded on lap 15.
No! Alpine! They finally built a good car!
So I texted...
You can't build a good engine. They're not allowed to change that.
Yeah.
I have a friend that works at Alpine, and twice I texted him and said, what do you make of these rumors that people at Viri, you know where the Renault engines are made? Because they're all basically losing their job. They're not losing their jobs. They're being like redeployed, but they're losing their connection formula. So they've held protests at Monza and other places to be like, keep Renault engines. And Alpine is like, now we're going with Mercedes. So I said, what do you make of these rumors that they're sabotaging the engines as a form of protest? Twice he has left me on blue ticks with no replies.
Does say a lot. Okay, and you got to get the other part of this that was really interesting is reportedly the reason why the engine failed is because the slipstream from Tsunoda overheated the engine.
Is that possible? I've never heard of that. Ever.
Yeah, I guess the dirty air slipstream paradox.
You're just not supposed to be there.
Just dirty
Shouldn't have
enough.
qualified so high.
That's right. It's
Our
just
cars
so
weren't
brutal.
built to be this far up the grid.
Okay, so I'm going to ask
I
you
feel
question
so
number
bad
2.
for them.
Okay.
2 of 3, right? I've only done 3 things.
Okay.
And then we can just tell you lots of stuff.
Okay.
So number 2, which of the following is true about the pit stops? Number
Oh my
1,
goodness.
Ocon entered the pits to change his tires. The team were not ready, and so he just drove past and out the pits again.
A stop and go, as we predicted on our last episode. Okay.
Number 2, Carlos Sainz was told to pit, and at the last second was told to stay out because the team were not ready.
Okay.
Number 3, Lance Stroll lost his radio and kept trying to indicate to the team he wanted to pit, but they didn't understand what he was saying. Do you want me to do them again? Do you have them?
No, I got it. So number 1 is Ocon gave
And his
himself a
self-imposed
stop and go.
drive-thru.
Yeah. Hilarious. The second one is Carlos, they told him to stay out. That's like very realistic. And I don't think you'd include that in the options, like if that happened, because that's so boring. And the last one is Lance Stroll couldn't pit. And okay.
Adam, while Mohammed's thinking, I'm gonna text you something. Can you get...
Text me or text Adam?
I'm texting Adam to get something.
Okay. So I think it's gonna be Ocon. I think instead of sitting there, I think he was like, you know what? I'll just do a drive-through, and I think he gave himself the drive-through penalty. It's just very classic Alpine stuff to happen, you know.
You're not intrigued by the idea Lance Stroll would lose his radio?
So I think he could have, but then I think there's ways for the team to go up on the pit wall and say like pit or box or something.
Yeah, well, what if the driver's saying my tires are failing? I need to pit.
How is he gonna indicate? What would he do? Fire a flare gun from the car? Like,
what would you do? What would you do if you were in that situation? For people listening on Spotify, Mohammed's just waving. So the correct answer was all 3.
That's so funny.
So Alpine had a bad time because one of their engines blew up, and then the other car gave itself a drive-through. And then Lance Stroll lost his engine, and he was so angry. In the interviews after the race, he was just like, "This is so funny." This whole idea that Lance Stroll doesn't want to be an F1 driver, but is being forced to be there. Like, it was the first time I saw it because he was just like, I couldn't talk to the team. The poor guy, like you said, he has no way of communicating with people. But obviously, he couldn't just drive into the pits and surprise everyone. And then Carlos Sainz, like you said, on one level, a boring interaction. But when he pitted, he'd been asking for about 2 laps to be like, my tires are going off, now is the time to pit. Because all this shenanigans with overcuts and undercuts and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And Carlos Sainz was like, now is the time to pit, now is the time to pit, now is the time to pit. And Adam's going to do his best impression of what happened.
Okay. It involves the classic exchange also from Monaco to really give you that worrying sense that Ferrari hasn't changed at all. So it goes, okay, and the box and pit will confirm. Just stay out. And then Carlos goes, what? We're not ready? Come on, wake up, guys.
So good. So number 3, last question.
It's so worrying when you hear to stay out like that.
To get their attention. But did he wave?
I didn't.
No, he just didn't succeed at all. No, it never worked out.
Yeah.
So no, I have to so in the other cases, it's obviously all the team's fault. But when it comes to Lance, unfortunately, I think he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt at all. So do we know for sure that they didn't try using the pit board, which is what normal people do, and he just doesn't know to look there?
That's like not.
Yeah, because he might just assume everything comes on a silver spoon to his headset. So he's never been oriented on pit boards.
Out, like on the start finish straight.
Yeah, I think the thing to come out is for them to say, Lance, come in and pit. But I think he wanted to pit a lot earlier than that. He wanted to come on the radio and be like, guys, these tires aren't working. We should pit now. But he wasn't talking to them. So the team was like, all right, let's just wait till our strategy, wait a few more laps, and then we'll put the board out.
Arafat, imagine...
guys, this is undrivable.
Arafat, imagine you have 200,000 extra pounds, right? You come into some kind of inheritance, and you decide to buy a brand new sparkling green emerald Aston Martin. And you sit in the car, and you turn on the radio and it doesn't work. What is Aston Martin doing? How is their radio not working?
It happens more often than you think. I've seen
They
lots
just-
of other teams have it.
They just don't focus on getting the radio. I mean, that's so crucial.
One of the first things, because remember those early like meme videos of Lando Norris would be him just driving around the lap once and like just talking the whole way.
The radio
And
wasn't
all the
working.
teams do that because it's just a radio check of where's the
yeah.
spots of the track that we can't get signal and where can we talk to the driver.
In 2024 somehow.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get at. I'm just so shocked.
I
Okay,
remember I
that
had a walkie-talkie like built into a Nerf gun that worked all the time as a child. By the way, I know you guys love to emphasize the things we say differently, so for this episode, I've noticed that this has been building up because of how often Mohammed says the word button, but it came again with Aston Martin, so all of us do it differently. So the English probably do this correctly, unlike many other English words. So you would say Aston Martin. You say the T's correctly.
Aston
Canadians
Martin.
tend to turn them into D's, so we're like Aston Martin. And then Mohammed almost skips over them. He
Aston
goes,
Martin.
Aston Martin.
Yeah, that's how we say it. That's how you
The
say it.
button. Yeah.
Aston Martin.
It's
think.
very funny.
Aston
There are
Martin
there's
DB.
no consonant
No,
at all
Aston
in
Mar-
the American version. They just hop over the sound.
Aston Martin. What?
Aston Martin.
Because he
Aston
says,
Martin
Mohammed says,
DB.
curtain, button. And we're all curtain and
While we're
button
talking about
over here.
cars,
Not a lot better.
I was on someone else's YouTube channel earlier this week.
Freighter.
And it was about video games, right? And I spent
Yeah.
a half my time ranting about Jaguar and their entire marketing campaign. So if people are wondering why I'm not ranting about it now, I think I had an experience whenever that day was, Tuesday, Monday, last week, whenever it was. And I got it all out my system. Maybe it was Friday.
That is like a travesty in and of itself. Talk about shooting yourself in the head. But anyway.
On a scale of 1 to Lotus forgetting why people like their cars, it's a 9.
I forgot about that about Lotus. Okay, let's hit me with the last one.
1 second. So the last one, I have a question for you, but I'm going to disappear off the camera for a little bit. You have fun.
He's ordered his gulab jamun, and he needs to go to the
assume that's
door.
what it is.
And I'm back. Basically,
What did
the
you
laptop
do?
charger was plugged in, but the switch wasn't switched on.
That's a thing
So-
you guys do in that country. In our country, we just use electricity as much as we want because we're the greatest country in the world. So we don't have switches.
Good, I'm glad. So the third one is a radio exchange between a driver and his engineer. And there's a bit of me that's like, do we just read this out like neutral or like with other voices entirely? Or do we try and do an impression of these people?
No, give it to me absolutely straight. Do I have to guess who the driver is?
Yeah. Guess who the
give
driver
it to me
is.
as bland, as straight as possible.
Okay. Adam, do you want to be the driver?
Absolutely.
It's easier for you to replace words with like freak and shoot than it is for us to go back and edit and put all the bleeps
Do I
in.
need to open the Google Doc to participate?
Yeah, there's a script for you, bro.
Watch out, my whole face is going to change. Whoa. A
Wow.
huge diagnostic monitor.
Yo, the
Okay.
diagnostic monitors are so cool. Like, sometimes when I go ask the radiologist for help, I just stand there looking at the monitors. And he's like, can I
Yeah.
help you? I was like, yeah, I forgot why I was here. Their monitor is gorgeous.
Okay, so I should do it without an impression of the person.
Without the impression,
because
yeah, you're obviously having to be the driver.
Yeah. Okay, bland
We'll
driver.
do
it
you know
is.
what? This is how we'll do it. We'll do it one sentence at a time, and if Mohammed gets it right, Adam can flick into the correct driver.
Okay.
Well, that's fun. Yeah, and you
Or-
too. I want to hear
Yeah,
you do your impression of an
Or
engineer,
every driver that you guess, Adam's next line has to be delivered as that driver that Mohammed guesses.
even if it's
Yes!
wrong.
Even if
yeah,
it's
even
wrong.
if it's
Yeah,
wrong,
okay,
I like
okay.
that. I like
This
that.
is
Let's
okay.
do it.
Even if it's wrong. So the first line, you just do as yourself.
Was that the checkered flag?
Yes, pick up marbles, please. Go on, Mohammed. Give us a guess.
Hard accent to do. Yes, whatever you want, as always.
Driver, you did your job, okay? Thank you.
Oh, that's not Max. This sounds disappointed. Lando
Yeah,
Norris.
I gave you the thumbs down. We're still going.
Lando Norris.
did he
What'd you say?
Lando Norris. Can you guys not hear me?
Yeah. I did my job, but being nice fucks me over all the. Can I say that, or do I have to say
Nice.
effing? All the effing time. all the effing time. It's not even being nice. It's just being respectful.
Driver.
What?
I'm saying driver instead of the person's name, but the engineer was actually just trying to say the person's name to shut them up. Who do you think it is now?
Be mad for doing something nice. I still feel like there was some like driver swap shenanigans because George ahead of Lewis and Carlos ahead of Charles does not. Something happened there. So
who's cranky?
it's not
about
George. I don't think that's not Lewis. I mean, Lewis is not going to complain about being nice.
I'm
It
nice
would have been
all the
George had
effing
he
time,
not finished.
and
I'm
it's
going to
not.
go with my next option is Charles Leclerc.
I know I need to shut up, but at one point it's always the same. So effing god.
Okay, but anyway, you did the right thing for the team, and pick up, please.
Was a driver swap it for us?
Yeah. Effing pick up the F whatever we want. Shit. The radio's on. Oh, I'm sorry, that one was on me.
Amazing.
Good,
job,
you
guys.
got on the last
That's
line.
so crazy. Oh my god,
It was excruciating. Like, think
God, it
about
was
that
so
whole thing playing
brutal
out.
to watch.
Like, oh my, but I can't believe. Wait, hold on. So they made him swap with Carlos? What happened?
Well, we'll get into that. So what I thought we'll do, we'll quickly run through the teams. We'll go with Mercedes first, and then I've not even put Ferrari down on my thing. We can start with Ferrari if you want, and then Mercedes, Red Bull, McLaren, and take it from there. Yeah. So Ferrari, who started in front again in qualifying?
Yeah, George.
No. But out of the two Ferrari drivers,
Who started in front? Is this part of like the weird blinding Mohammed quiz or the truth?
no. This is just me trying to remember what the hell happened.
George qualified on pole. Lewis qualified 10th.
Lewis qualified 10th.
No.
George
Why?
Lewis
You're
was
breaking my
fast.
heart.
He should have been front row, even if he wasn't pole. He should have been at least second.
Yeah,
But,
I just made a mistake.
Yeah.
Very
he made
odd.
lots of mistakes in a row.
I was really.
But
This
the
is
Ferrari
something worth
drivers,
discussing, whether it's
essentially,
now or at the end of the year.
they were right next to each other the whole race, the Ferrari drivers. Yeah. And then at one point, Charles was like attacking. He was going really hard, trying to catch. Was it first place, second place at the time?
He was in a
What,
podium position.
Charles?
Yeah. So Charles burnt out his tires because he was going way too fast at the beginning. So then he had to let
Nobody
Carlos
ever
by.
had a beat on George at all.
No. Yeah, the Mercedes was way too fast.
Wow,
so
what?
Ferrari burnt his tires out.
Yeah, he just drove
trying to
away
keep
like
up.
he was like Charles and Austin level. It was like not a race.
Oh my god. That's crazy. So is that how Lewis finished second despite starting 10th?
Yeah, he cut through from 10th, and Lewis had a really, really good race. He did really, really well, and it's just kind of disappointing that to think what could have been had he even started second. I suspect his race pace. Well, you can never say. Like as a fan, I'm going to be like his race pace was good enough, faster than George. But George never had to actually push himself, so you never know.
I just knew this race would hurt me somehow. We will go to Qatar this next weekend, and I guess we'll talk about it after that, and it won't be a surprise for me this time. Thanks. This was super fun for me to find out what happened this way. I really enjoyed it. Thanks for taking notes during the race and for
from the hip, guys. As our way out, team principal, 2 drivers for Andretti Cadillac.
Oh, yeah,
Go.
Yeah. Team principal, Michael Andretti. 2 drivers, Valtteri Bottas and Zhou Guanyu.
You should have put Bottas and Perez, both B-teamers.
And Sergio Perez. I change it. That's too funny. With Michael Andretti as the team principal. Let's go.
So I don't think Michael Andretti. I think it will be.
It's already been announced, by the way.
Who's been
Sargent's
pinned recently?
got tons of money too.
Who's
It's gonna be
the
Mario.
team principal?
It's Mario Andretti.
You pick.
No, Mario's just like
Nobody
some
knows
random advisor.
You said Mario or you said Michael, Mohammed?
No, I said Michael, but I thought they put Mario.
Yeah,
Andretti
Michael
as
be
team
funny.
principal.
He's slipping right back in there.
No, Mario's not team principal. He's like advisor to the board. He's got like some honorary position just.
Hey,
so
if you're not ready yet, Arafat, I'll give you mine.
Go. I'm gonna say Günther Steiner.
Otmar Safenauer comes back again.
Oh yes.
He's a Michigander, Romanian. He's perfect. Okay. Drivers, one has to be American, and they should be Andretti Academy. So I'm gonna say Kyle Kirkwood because it's supposed to be Colton Herta, but he's not good. He's had enough times to prove himself, and you know my no champion rule. So their guys right now are Kirkwood, Herta, and Marcus Ericsson. Marcus would be a great choice because he's experienced in F1, but I'm gonna say Kyle Kirkwood. He's even like Logan Sargent's close friend, so it'd be funny.
Ericsson hit us.
And then for the other one, it's Agretti Academy. So I'm going to keep
I'm going to say
pushing Jamie
Colapinto.
Chadwick. Jamie Chadwick until she gets a seat.
No, I'm going to say Colapinto. I think Colapinto will end up as Williams reserve for next year and in Cadillac for 26.
And who's the other
Wow.
one?
Who else you got?
The other one will be someone
You can
Yeah,
take
Jacob
Joe
was
Guanyu
super
since Mohammed kicked him out.
No, I was going to say like Bottas or Perez
Danny
or
Rick?
something like that.
Danny Rick.
Danny Rick with the
Danny
new
Rick.
regs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not? With his big
Yeah.
Texan hat. Go for it.
And who's your TP? Cyril
Team principal,
Abitable?
Gunter.
Gunther.
All your team's done then.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. We will see you guys after Qatar. Bye.
Later.
Bye.